Hello and welcome to Face Off. Democrats united in Denver. Tonight, the eyes of the world will be on Hillary Clinton as she delivers a primetime speech to the party convention. The former First Lady has urged her supporters to swing into line behind Barack Obama, the man who beat her in the party's primary season. But not all of Clinton's backers are ready to heed her call. Some groups even want to push the Democratic nomination for president to a vote on the convention floor. Many Clinton backers are angry too that their preferred candidate wasn't offered the chance to be Obama's running mate. And polls released in the last week show that upwards of 1 in 5 voters who plumped for Clinton in the primaries will in fact switch to Republican candidate John McCain in November rather than vote for Obama. Well, joining me now in the studio to discuss all the issues are Brian Lang of Young Democrats Abroad France, whose Clintonian credentials are well established. He worked on the Clinton campaign team in 1992. I'm also joined by Crystal Fleming, doctoral student in sociology at Harvard University, of Democrats Abroad. Many thanks for coming onto the show. Brian, what can we expect from Hillary Clinton? Will she be preaching the message of party unity? And will her supporters follow?
Of course. Hillary Clinton is a senator from New York. She's one of the leaders of the Democratic Party. She's looked up by all as a role model. She's one of maybe the most powerful women in America. In this role, she has to preach party unity. That is a simple answer. She's going to do her best to get Obama elected president of the United States.
I think Brian's absolutely right. I mean, I think she has shown since the end of the primary season that she now has the best interests of the party at stake in mind. I'm not so sure she had those same interests in mind during the most contentious parts of the primary season. Unfortunately, some of the things she said about our candidate are now being used by the Republicans, and it's something that we said would happen from the start. So I think it just shows how difficult it was for her to imagine that she might not win. And now we're in that position where, you know, clearly Barack Obama mathematically won the primaries. I think it was great for him that he avoided a situation where Hillary would still be contesting the results. She's not. I think she's really stepped up and has shown that, you know, she's going to support the campaign and do what she needs to do to get him elected and avoid a third Bush term.
Even if Hillary Clinton says she's not going to contest the results, some of her supporters want to, including this group PUMA. I won't read out what that acronym stands for, Brian, but are they a fringe group or do they have a solid basis of support behind them?
I wouldn't say they're a fringe group. I mean, they're probably acting larger than they are actually in reality. I'm sure they have many members who are fleeting members, gave their email address and so forth. But even if you ignore them, there are other members of the Democratic Party who aren't so sure about Obama. If you go back to the recent history, 2008, everybody knew it was going to be a watershed year. The Democrats had a golden opportunity to win back the presidency. And they actually wanted to get a candidate who was going to be ordained, who was actually going to do a very good job. And for whatever reason, they picked Hillary Clinton back in, let's say, 2004, 2005, after Kerry had lost. She became the establishment candidate. There's no doubt about that. It was inevitable a year ago that people thought she would win the nomination. And they even actually condensed the primary season down to a very short period. They said only a well-financed candidate would be able to win all those primaries quickly. It was her nomination to win. Because of that, many people got on board very early. People supported her. So that at this point, when she has not won the nomination, a lot of her supporters, a lot of Democratic Party insiders feel, how can this young guy come along and suddenly take the nomination? They are bitter. They feel Obama, in one sense, has stolen a nomination from her. So they are really not going to...
Listen, when we talk about this young guy, Bill Clinton was younger than Barack Obama is going to be when he was first elected. But I think you're right. Yes, there's this serious sentiment. It's real. There are divisions among people who supported Clinton. You know, I think it's something like 47% are solidly behind Obama. Another 23% don't know what they're going to do. And 30% might vote for McCain. That's
They're very worrying poll
serious.
figures, Crystal.
It's very worrying, and I think that the actual campaign starts now. It starts at the end of the convention when we have an official candidate, and now we have a running mate in Joe Biden, who I think is going to be a real attack dog for the Democratic Party and really go out there and take McCain to task. And I think the main argument, the main objective for the Democratic Party now is to show, listen, 8 in 10 Americans are dissatisfied with the direction our country is going in. How do you harness this year, as you said, 2008, this is watershed year, how do you harness the argument that McCain represents the continuation of President Bush? He voted 90% of the time for President Bush's policy. So we need to really focus on unity.
But
that argument.
McCain's team feel they can harness some of the arguments used by Hillary Clinton during the primary season. They're already running campaign ads along those lines.
The second part about this is, as all of us probably know, to win the presidency you need to win 11 states, the big 11 states. That's 207 electoral votes. If you look in the primary, Obama only won 3 of those states. And one of them, North Carolina, has probably a very unlikely chance he's going to win the general election. So the Clinton supporters are also saying, this guy came in from almost nowhere, when basis on all these caucuses, then the 11 most important states, he didn't do a very good job. They're going, this is going to be a disaster for us. Here we had a watershed year, and we don't have the best foot forward candidate. We don't have this fighter, this fundraiser.
Brian, there are suspicions amongst many that Hillary Clinton secretly wants Barack Obama to lose this election so that she can have another run at the presidency in 2012.
The only person who knows that is Hillary Clinton. Maybe Bill Clinton, but she is out there going to fight for Obama. She has to fight for Obama, because even what you said is true. She has to be the party line, because if she's sitting in a corner saying, I should be the candidate, Obama's going to lose, if Obama does lose, they're not going to pick her in 2012. They're like, wait a minute, she was such a spoiled brat last time. And what happens if she does say that and Obama wins? She's going to be the least important senator in the history of the country.
But I think she had a real choice. She could have taken this to the convention as a floor fight, legitimately, because it's been done in the past. As a woman, I'm very proud of what she's done, and I think that it's legitimate and it's right that her name, I think, is going to be on the roll call, and hopefully we'll see her give her delegates officially to Obama.
I also think you have to remember saying that she could have took it to the convention floor. You had Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi was against her. You had the Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid was against her. She really couldn't take it to the floor, because if she did, there's no chance you would have a chance in 2012. I mean, she had to play the party line.
And hopefully she realized if she did that, McCain would have a much better chance of winning this year. So I think her interest in getting the party to November strong are in evidence.
And there's no doubt. I mean, she's for Obama now. But you're right. In her heart of hearts, she may not be. And I'm sure.
And I hope she can convince Bill, because I'm not sure.
But I mean, Bill, as you said, after there was an ABC interview with Bill,
Yeah.
After he was when he was in Africa, and he also feels very slighted, because him and Obama were actually supposed to have a dinner after the primary season ended. They still haven't had this dinner. So here it is, the only living 2-term Democratic president, and Obama won't even almost return his phone calls. I mean, Bill does not feel probably very happy.
That Bill Clinton feels slighted, but some Obama supporters feel that the Clintons are actually getting too much star billing at this Democratic Party convention, that they have 2 big speeches at prime time. They'll be right in the limelight over the next couple of days.
Well, the danger there is that in highlighting the Clintons, I mean, it could either, there are 2 sides of the coin. It could either help her supporters who are feeling slighted and need to get on board, or it could highlight divisions in the party. So I think a lot is at stake in the speech she gives and the speech he gives. If they come out there convincing in their support of Barack Obama, I think you're going to find a Democratic Party that's more united. If there's any hint in Bill Clinton's speech that he's a little ambivalent, his feelings still might be hurt, I think it's disastrous.
These are career politicians. I mean, Bill Clinton, all the nicknames we're not going to bring up. He's going to give a great speech. He's going to say people vote for Obama. Even Hillary, she's been doing this for a long time. They're going to give great speeches. But the real question is, in their heart of hearts, should they do that? Who knows? But the party's going to be unified in the sense that everybody is going to be working for the ultimate goal. What happens after the election, that's a whole different story.
Now, fractious party conventions have scuppered presidential campaigns of both the Republicans and the Democrats in the past. Even if the career politicians manage to come to some sort of agreement, there's no guarantee that the floor and the delegates will follow.
It's true, there's no guarantee, but I think you are going to see some disputes on the floor. I know for a fact of people who are delegates and are still going to vote for her no matter what. But I think that's normal. We don't need 100% of the delegates to vote for Obama.
You look at yesterday, James Corbett was on CNN, and he said the press is making a bigger deal of this. So even if there's 2 guys who happen to just bump shoulders because one steps in each other's toe, this is going to be on the papers. This is going to be a big deal. So even little tiny things are going to be blown up out of proportion now. So, yes, you do have debates on the floor, but you even had debates when it was Al Gore. People do discuss things. These are
Yeah.
People are interested in politics. They fight over issues. They have different beliefs. It's just right now people are really honed in on this fact, so
Yeah.
people are concentrating on it.
Everything, as you say, is examined in minute detail when it comes to a presidential election in the United States. Indeed, last week Hillary Clinton was caught in a speech in Florida still referring to Obama as my opponent. Well, that doesn't go down too well, Crystal
Bit of
Fleming.
a Freudian slip,
Well,
perhaps.
you can look at it that way. One time, Secretary of State Condi Rice called George Bush her
husband.
So, I mean, make a mistake like that is not terrible. I mean, she must have called Barack Obama her opponent
1,000
Yeah,
times.
1,000 million times. So at this point, it's just how she refers to him.
And Joe Biden called Barack Obama Barack America. So, I mean, it's not, I think the politicians are tired. It's been a long year.
I mean, there's much more. Other cases, but let's say Barney Frank, I'm not going to repeat on the air what was said as well. So a minor mistake like that is just let it happen. I mean, they're human. We all make mistakes.
Are both of you not slightly worried that after such a close and very hard-fought primary campaign, that the candidates, well, now we have a Democratic presidential candidate going forward in Barack Obama, it seems, will not be slightly worn out by that? And also they've provided ammunition to the Republicans, as we've seen with this John McCain ad.
We've seen the ammunition used. I think that it happens every election cycle where words are dug up from what candidates have said. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think the main thing is going to be going forward. Joe Biden's bringing new energy to the Obama campaign, and I think he's fresh, although earlier in the year he had a few gaffes himself. But I think going forward we're going to move on from these silly ads that McCain is putting out. We're going to get down to the serious business of showing that McCain is Bush 3.
Also, you have to look at it this way. I mean, Republican parties, Lee Atwater, Karl Rove, anything Hillary said, McCain's campaign was going to come up with it sooner or later. There's no way you can say, oh, they're bringing up new dirt or bringing up dirt. I mean, the Republicans are well prepared. I hate to admit it, they know how to campaign like the best of them. So they are going to be doing the same thing. So the fact that we had some of it maybe by Hillary earlier in the year may be a positive, because at this point, maybe it's been played out.
But I think the thing is, if Hillary had been on the ticket or if she had been the nominee, you would have such a vast repertoire of things to dig up from the past. The Republicans have been exploiting, putting the Clintons to the fire for so long that we would be in a much tougher
But no one
position.
cares about Whitewater anymore. I mean, that's been played to death. Everybody's heard about it. I mean, there's no way that's going to come up. That's one, I think, advantage Hillary did have, that there's nothing new negative out there. Because, I mean, everybody's looked at her career by microscopes a dozen times over.
Back to this speech, which is upcoming, of Hillary Clinton at the Democratic Party convention. Do you think her endorsement will help deliver the white working class vote that Barack Obama has had some trouble reaching up until now?
I think Joe Biden is more important in helping deliver that part of the electorate than Hillary Clinton, although her support is going to be important. I mean, the extent to which she's able to help Obama's appeal with that constituency is going to depend on how much she puts her, gets on the ground and is out there talking and stumping for him. So I don't know how much you'll actually see Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton on the ground talking to l'Amérique profonde, as we say in French, but I think that's what we're going to need to see.
I mean, I don't know how much, to be honest, that her endorsement will help that segment, because this is the so-called working people who are afraid of NAFTA, worried about losing their jobs, seeing the gasoline prices go higher and higher. So really, whoever's going to win that consistency has actually got to put in a very good message. So, I mean, Obama's got to come up with that message, or McCain's got to come up with the message.
And also, they have to be authentic. Joe Biden is much closer to that kind of working class
They call him
American
from Scranton,
dream.
Pennsylvania, a fighter from Scranton, Pennsylvania. They
Which
already knew
Hillary Clinton's family is from, too.
She's from a little bit further west. They say the same type of thing. They actually want to have somebody who's from that background.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they don't want to...
He's one of the poorest members of the Senate in Washington. He's one of the poorest politicians out there, if you can use the word poor. He's someone who can identify with this part of the electorate and speak from a place of authenticity in a way that I don't think Hillary Clinton ever really could.
I'm afraid that's going to be the final word for this edition of Face Off. I'd like to say many thanks to my guests, Crystal Fleming and Brian Lang, for coming into the studio. I'll be back with another edition of Face Off on France 24 at exactly the same time tomorrow, so see you then. Until then, though, bye for now.